Hello, hello, and welcome to Rory's Brainworks, where we get creative and see if it works. Today, we're going to be working with a square knot dress. Kind of like the square knot harness we had done many moons ago. It has a much different design, kind of like a hishikarado, or like a diamond dress. And it's nice to feel pretty. I like doing them as well, and they're relatively easy to do. But before we get into that, we must first talk about safe, sane, and consensual safety. Be sure to have some safety shears with you at all times. You can always get a new rope, can't get a new life. And consensual. Me, Marie, and Crochet Rory are all consenting adults. Communication is key. Now, before we take a deep dive into this square knot dress, we must first thank my sponsor, KnotHead Nylon.
KnotHead Nylon is the destination for all your premium nylon rope bondage needs. Easy to clean, water resistant, up to 1,100 pounds of weight load, and in a wide array of beautiful, vibrant colors, KnotHead Nylon will slake your rope desires. At checkout, put in discount code RORY10 for 10% off.
Now, the square knot, as we will be using them these two ways, we'll be using it to initially start our tie with that one right there, and then the rest of the time while going down the dress, we'll utilize this one right here. Very similar to a surgeon's knot, and I'll tell you which part separates it. It's actually the square knot is an extra step, technically. But the square knot and the surgeon's knot are very close together. Can be easily confused. I used to easily confuse them in my previous videos. Oh, what a world we live in. But it's an important knot to note. It's very sturdy, very hardy, much like the foundations of my brain. Shush. Now, let's get on to the tutorial. So to start off, we're going to take the 2 bites of our ropes and we're going to insert one into the loop of the other. Ah, very nice. Now the one that got inserted, we're going to reach into that one. There's a lot of insertion going on here. And we're going to just grab these other tails right here and pull them through. Once they're through, wha-bam, we have our first square knot. This is the most simple form. The next forms are going to be slightly more complicated, but only so slightly, saying that a very easy thing becomes just easy, so it doesn't complicate it all that much. Now, something I was told much earlier on when I was making videos was to try not to have too many dark ropes in my tutorials because sometimes it's hard to see. But this color combo I love so much, I'm going to skirt the danger of not being able to see some of the ropes sometimes and use it anyway. I'm going to try and pay attention to how the light is to make sure that you guys are getting the best possible content. All right, to begin, we're going to be placing that right there across the neck. Now, this should raise alarms in you. Usually when we have ties that start around the neck, it starts around the back and moves forward. That's because we don't want pressure going up towards the neck. Because if you start pulling on the tails back here to begin this tie, that's going to go into the windpipe. That's going to restrict the airways, and we don't want that. But I have a reason, because we're immediately going to come back around and pull from here in order to give us that breathing room space so that it doesn't happen again. It'll kind of keep it in a spot right here that will make it unable to go back. So where do we go from here? Well, in the back, we're just going to cross over and then go beneath the armpits right here. Now, coming up from the armpits, I'm going to tighten ever so slightly just to make sure we don't have any slack in the back right there. I'm going to place this one over the shoulder. And for this one, we're going to go up and around this way, creating a munter hitch, or actually it's a little bit more of a half hitch. So we're going to go underneath here. Once we're through, we're going to cross over like that, and then underneath. So we're going around the outside and underneath. I'm going to pull from right here, and I'm going to undo the slack a little bit. There we go. That should tighten this area, going from the armpit to this area. I'm going to get a little bit closer with this one so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to take it off the shoulder. I'm going to pull out a little bit of tightness. Marie, how's that feel? Good. Yeah, as soon as we put this one under and doing the same thing on this side, it's going to alleviate some of that pressure. So we'll come up this way, go underneath, pull that through. I'm going to pull up, take away some of the slack that's over on this side. Then we're going to collapse it down this way, and then we're going to twist and go underneath ourselves towards the center. Reduce any slack. Good. Pull those down a little bit. Great. Now we have that tension away from the neck. And we also get to highlight another square knot right here, because we're going to have a series of square knots going down. Now let's look at this first square knot. One of the first things we do is we cross over, make an X, and then this one is going to cross over again and through. Now a lot of you are thinking, that's just like tying a shoe. You are correct. Now what separates this from a surgeon knot to a square knot? A surgeon knot would basically just do the same thing. It'll cross over, create an X, and go through. And close up. However, there is a lack of symmetry in this, because these twos just switch side. They switch sides here and here, creating that. Now, I'll show you the difference, because in a square knot, they loop around each other as opposed to just tying into each other. So remember that, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison when we get the next one up. So we'll tighten that down and bring this over. So how I like to do this in my mind when I first started out trying to figure out square knots most efficiently is that this is going to turn around and go this way. Cool. So what do I have to do to make this one mimic what's going on up here? So the burgundy rope is going under right here, which means I went over here and under. So under, over, under. So we're going under, over, which naturally makes it go under again. And we'll bring that down. Perfect. We got ourselves a nice little square knot. As you can see, they're looping into each other. It's a more intense hug. Let me put the side by side. We got the square knot here, and the surgeon's knot here. The square knot just looks a little bit cleaner. The surgeon's knot a little bit more bulky. This fits into itself better. Creates a better design. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these around the back. Add a little tightness there. And then we're going to come back around, and what we're going to do is just simply cross over each other and go back towards the front. If you want to add a little extra flair, you can do that to it and head towards the front again. But that's only if you want to have the same color going to the same side. Otherwise, we'll just cross as normal and go around. That's going to switch up the colors going from one side to the other. Once we've come back around, you guessed it, we're going to do another square knot. Now this one went under, over, under. So let's try out going over, under, over. Tighten that down. Bring it close in, and we'll turn this around. Now, like I said, we have to figure out backwards this way. So this pink one is going to go over, under, over. So over, under, and naturally it'll go over again. Pull that taut. Now you can see it did the same design, just opposite. Now if you want them to be the same way, well then just continue doing them the same way, but I'm going to alternate going from this one to this one. Now, getting the tighten on these is a little bit of a hard lesson learned. It's all about tightening those top ones and then moving it down and squeezing it so it can't really get loose, and pulling the tail ends from our other ones. Cool. We're going to rinse and repeat, where these are going to go around the back, cross over, and back towards the front, so we can keep on keeping on our square knot dress. However, if the partner that you are currently tying up does have breasts, that it might be best to avoid putting it down right here, because sometimes that can be sensitive if too much pressure is being pushed down upon it. Ask them, see if it's okay. You can cautiously try it out if they're not sure either. If not, you can just start the next one down here, which is what I'm going to end up doing. So if you remember from before, when the burgundy was on the left side, we went under, over, under, under, over, under. We're going to tighten that down best we can. Come back around. The burgundy is going to go under, over, under. Tighten that down, which makes a square knot similar to the one that we first started with. We're going to go back around and do it again. And when pink was in charge, it went over, under, over. Tighten that best we can. Marie, how's that feel? All right. We're going to pull these down. And now over, under, over for the pink again. Beautiful. I think with the ropes that I got going on right now, I can go back around and do one more. Go back around. Burgundy was in charge, which means we're going under, over, under, Tighten that down across the hips. Pull down. Burgundy's gonna go under, over, and under. Haha. Now, I have very small amount of my rope left. What I could do is go around the back and then tie them off in a square knot. I can just tie a last square knot or an overhand knot and just be done with it at that point. Here's what that looks like. Just tie off with a square knot here. Tie it up, finish it off. And here we are. This is what we're working with when we leave this space in order to not compress the breasts. It's a beautiful design. It's fun and easy. Let me show you what it looks like when we do compress the breasts, or if there's someone without breasts. And with a relatively unbroken space in the middle here, this is what it looks like all done up. If I can do it this way, I prefer to do it this way. This is what the back looks like. I managed to get the bow inside this one because I didn't have as much rope left at the end of it. Simple and beautiful. Well, hey, I hope you had as much fun learning from that tutorial as we did at teaching it to you. I said it's hip to be square as a joke, you know, because of the song, and she thought it was like an invitation that she was indeed cool, and so she started making a lot of dance TikToks. I know, we'll see how it goes. Hey, maybe it'll do well. Anywho, I'd be remiss if I did not bring up my other lovely sponsors for today, the wonderful people who are at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rory'sBrainworks, just like this YouTube channel. They are my rope and video game vanguard, my colonizers of dreams. Without them, all the ropey and video game endeavors that I do would be way harder to accomplish. Thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this madness, and comment down below what you thought of this tutorial and what you would like to see in the future. As always, I'm Rory. This is our brain. I'm fairly certain it works. Be safe and go create some art.